by applications for attendance via video link, which we have none. The acknowledgement of country, please, Councillor Douglas.
Hello. I would like to acknowledge the Wanneroo people, the traditional custodians of the land we meet on tonight. I pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging, for they hold the memories, the traditions and the culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people across the nation. We have been elected by our community to deliver as our elders of our lands have done in the past. I would also like to recognise the strong ongoing connection of First Nations people of the lands and waters where we do our work and their commitment to care for country.
Civic. Thank you, Councillor Douglas. Civic prayer.
Almighty God, from whom comes each and every perfect gift, we give you thanks for the blessings you bestow upon us in the Shire. Grant to those who hold office in this council the spirit of justice and truth, wisdom and charity, that mindful of our responsibility and the needs of those who we serve, we may act faithfully and use the authority committed to us to advance the common good through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Please be seated. We have a big agenda tonight. So there are 0 apologies and applications for leave of absence. I do just want to go through that. Confirmation of minutes of the previous meeting held in the 23rd of June 2024. Councillor Douglas and Councillor Leckie. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Any disclosures of any pecuniary or non-pecuniary notices? I'll start and go left. In relation to contract 2023-2024-0611 17.4, the detailed design Olympic Park grandstand. I undertake videography in this location as well as others, so I'm not impacted or benefited by this as we can video from any aspect. Councillor Marshall.
10.1.2, DA 2023-128, subdivision of one lot into two, 20 Honey Lane, Sandy Isle, non-community interest as the applicant is my niece. 17.2, contract 2023-2024-0620, placement of road causeway on Dry Creek as the non-community interest as the contractor. My daughter is employed by the contractor. 17.3, contract 2023-2024-0603, Emmon Recreation Reserve Works, Bell Street. Same non-pecuniary interest as my daughter is employed by the contractor. 17.7.
Can I just ask a question? You said 17.2, but that was the regional procurement. Was it 17.6 you meant for the contract for the replacement of Dry Creek?
I might have got it wrong. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Probably. Yep. One to go. 17.7. Contract 2023-2024-0582, Merton Street Stormwater Drainage. Non-pecuniary interest as my daughter is also employed by the contractor.
Just to clarify, 10.1.2, 17.6, 17.7, and 17.11. Councillor Leckie.
I've got two, so 10.1.4 on page 136, the draft planning agreement, Mac Energy and Muswellbrook Shire Council for public exhibition. My son works at Mount Pleasant, so that's a non-pecuniary, and 17.1 Mount Pleasant road closure and works deed. Again, my son works at Mount Pleasant, so another non-pecuniary.
Thank you. No.
Yes, item 10.1.3, page 110. DA 2021-13, modification request to extend time for use of the mountain classroom, 104 Hill Street. I have a major non-pecuniary interest as I am a close neighbour.
Thank you, Councillor Scholz.
Yes, I have a procurement interest on It is 17.1, development application for the, 10.1.4. Draft planning agreement for Mac Energy, as my daughter works for a company that works on site out there. Does work for them. I have 17.1 is for Mount Pleasant Road closure and works deed. My daughter works for a company that is employed with Mac Energy doing works on site. 17.2 regional tender for the causeway. My daughter also is the safety officer for a company that is involved in the tender. 17.4, again, my daughter is involved as a safety coordinator with the company that's doing works on the job. And 17.7, same again, my daughter is safety officer. Nothing employed with that.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, I have it one. Item number 10.1, tank monthly report to council planning environment. Page number 208. One of the DL listed in this report, I and my wife on this property.
No, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two. First one in planning environment, item 10.1.4 on page 136. The draft planning agreement. Mac Energy and Muswellbrook Shire Council for public exhibition. I have a pecuniary interest, Mr. Mayor, as my employer undertakes work for Mac Energy. Second one is in closed council, item 17.1, page CC3, Mount Pleasant Road closure and works deed. Again, pecuniary interest, Mr. Mayor, as my employer undertakes work for Mount Pleasant.
I have three, Mr. Mayor. 10.1.4, page 136. I have a non-pecuniary interest in the draft planning agreement between Mac Energy and Muswellbrook Shire Council for public exhibition, as Mac Energy provide funding for the LAC where I am CEO of. Closed council, 17.1, a non-pecuniary Mount Pleasant Road closure and works deed. Again, Mac Energy provide funding for the LAC where I am CEO of. And then in closed council, 17.3, the Queen Street Road Reserve, non-pecuniary, as this backs onto the Muswellbrook Common, which is owned by Wanneroo LAC, where I'm CEO of.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one item, a 10.1.8 change to local heritage assistant grant size. I'm a part owner of the Muswellbrook Heritage Island.
Step back. I just want to confirm that clarified councillor Marshall's, but not 17.8. Sorry, to myself.
Just ignore my
All right, which brings us along to the mayoral minute. There isn't anything there, but I'd just like to say, firstly, that this term, when we first took office, we set out to make sure that financially we made sure that this council was sustainable moving forward. And with the rocky seas that we had, with the unforeseen building costs increases, interest rate increases, inflation, that I think staff and us have done a fantastic job in keeping where it is, and staff especially. Credit to the general manager who's not here at the moment due to illness, and have to highly acknowledge his leadership of the staff throughout the whole organisation, and Josh for his efficiency work that he did with the staff so as we could get things under control. And the second thing was we weren't going to take on any more projects so as we could get through the list that we have. And whilst that's still the case, some have really dropped off at the moment, which leaves us a good platform for next term. But all politics aside, it has been a council where we've got in and got things done purely because it's been democratic decisions. Everyone with a different opinion, everyone's been heard. We've been able to put that across. And from new councillors without any experience to the 26-year-old veteran on council, I think it's been a wonderful council to they're part of, and I'm very honoured to have been able to be mayor for that. And I thank you all. And I think for the staff especially, we deserve a round of applause for where we are at the moment with the community. Oh, right. Just a special note that we don't have any apologies, but General Manager being not here with us tonight, we send our wishes to him, and he has done a fantastic job since taking the seat. Public participation, we do have public participation. We have Mr. Chris Baldry in support of 10.1.3, the DA 2021-13 modification request to extend time for the use of the Demount classroom at 104 Hill Street, and also Miss Janet Walsh. If you guys would like to come to the lectern, there's 2 minutes to speak. You can do it one at a time if you like, or both at once.
We'll come together.
So yeah, it's 2 minutes, but you can ask for an extension. Sorry.
As I'm reflected on the right, I'm speaking to, I think we should.
Thank you, Councillor Sculls.
Hi, Janet. I am the principal of Pacific Brook. I've been there working there for 2.5 years, but 6 months as the principal. And my goal at the school is to be building a community in our school. Chris will talk more about the DA and all those sorts of things, but for me, the coffee van is one of our ways to engage our community. We connect with our parents there. For me, it's not impacting the access to our site. I'm willing to work with you and go by, be led by you. But for us to move, it would impact significantly. Our site is a hill. It's a very steep hill. I'm breathless every day walking up. It never gets easier. But we are so keen to move to our new site, and that's, again, I'll leave to Chris. But I'd love you to reconsider the fact for us to move that. We're currently is in a spot where it's flat. Does not impact our 5 parking spaces that we have access to on that site. There's room for an extra one as well. So, yeah, it's all about building community and strengthening our connection with our students and our parents, which is one of our goals.
Just really quickly, thanks to Sharon and councillors for the work you do. I appreciate it. Just really quickly, yeah, we just represent 70 students at the moment. And appreciate the modification of these 2 classrooms, and as the paper says, it's due to end in 2026. And we've had so many delays with our new project at 7274 Maitland Street that we don't want to say that the DA is about to be lodged this Friday or next week, but so I wouldn't say that, but it's imminent, and we are looking forward to moving as well. So yeah, we just wanted to be here and just represent the students in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. You can stay for lectern for a moment, that's all right. There'll be questions without a doubt from the councillors. Thank you. Never used that time before. Councillors, questions? Anyone a specific question or anything?
You say we only had, but you had 70 students at the school, is that correct?
Yeah, around 70. Okay.
Question, just like to thank you for your commitment for community and the efforts you employ.
Thank you.
Just a quick question. I know you said it's imminent,
Yes.
but that was going to be the case some time ago. How?
Yeah.
What is the current staging that you're looking at planning to be?
So we were, as you probably know, our state significant development was rejected about September last year.
Mhm.
We've been doing redesign. We've gone back to the consultants, and we are just finishing off the SEE, and we've had the flood consultant report just be finalised with us today. So flooding was the major concern of the state government, and we believe we've addressed that with the latest report. So that was our biggest piece of the puzzle to get ready, and we, as I say, the application should come through imminently.
Right.
So
He keeps.
I don't want to be
looking, he doesn't
specific
want to
because
just-
Janet's, the community at the school is quite disappointed with the delays that have been occurring in the past sort of 4 years. So that's why I'm not telling you the date.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, it is imminent and should have the application really shortly. So look forward to that.
No problem. We welcome that and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Someone, Councillor Skelton, please. Well, Councillor Stiles is coming in. Brings us to our first business item, which is 10.1.1, development application number 100/2023, demolition of existing structures, constructions of 9 service apartments, construction of 2 new shop fronts and a strata subdivision 37 Overby Street, Denman. It's a recommendation the council grants development consent to DA 2023-100 for the demolition of existing structures, construction of 9 service apartments, construction of 2 new shop fronts and a strata subdivision at Lot 102 DP 1178581 37 Overby Street, Denman, subject to the recommended conditions of consent included as attachment B to the report.
Yes, Mr Mayor, I'd like to move it and so look forward to the plans presented. We'll fix that old decrepit building has been there for some time, so happy to move it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second it. We'll get going.
Seconded by Councillor Barry. Any discussion? I commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.1.2 DA 2023-128. Just go through the reading before we start the discussion, because we've got a rather large document as people move in and out. Subdivision of 1 lot into 2 lots, 20 Honey Lane, Sandy Hollow. It's recommendation the council approves development application DA 2023-128 to permit the subdivision of 1 lot into 2 lots, subject to the recommended conditions of consent and attachment B. Do I have someone to move that? Councillor McNeil, second by Councillor Lecky. Any discussion? With the motion, all those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that carried.
That's it.
10.1.3, the modification request to extend time for use of Demountain Classroom 104 Hill Street, Muswellbrook, which I had a amendment submitted today, and the amended motion reads as council approves the modification of development application number 21-13, to permit the continued use of the Demountain Classroom located at Lot 21 DP 828480 104 Hill Street, Muswellbrook through to January 31st, 2026, subject to amended conditions shown in Appendix B, and with further amendments that require A, all staff except those with mobility issues to park in Hill Street. B, the school minibus is to be parked in the school's car park except during school zone times, for example, 8 a.m. to 9:30 and 2:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. on school days. And C, the coffee cart in the school car park is to be removed by the 11th of October 2024. That was submitted. Did you wish to speak to that?
Oh, just to say the reason for these changes is to ease congestion on Salby Street, because that has been a major problem, and to monitor the effectiveness of the conditions before agreeing to any further extensions.
Okay, it's been moved by Councillor Dunn. Seconding, anyone? Councillor Barry. Any discussion? I commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. It's been through. You are more than welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you wish to. So, 10.1.4. Draft planning agreement, Mac Energy Muswell Shire Council for public exhibition. As a recommendation that Council 1 approve publicly exhibiting the draft planning agreement attachment A in accordance with the requirements of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979, and 2, delegates authority to the General Manager to execute the planning agreement following public exhibition and to make appropriate amendments to the planning agreement which do not alter the intent of the draft planning agreement as exhibited or result in material changes to the planning agreement following considerations of any public submissions. Councillor Drayton, seconded by Councillor Marshall. Sorry, guys, that's since the stroke. Go.
Just, I do want to speak. I'm happy to support the motion. I do want to raise an issue. It's an issue that this council's been raising certainly since we started. And that is, and there's a particular section in this document that talks about employing apprentices who live in our LGA. It's certainly been a focus for this council and for myself, not just apprentices. In this case, it is apprentices in here, but certainly we want a close focus, and we want mines to know. And it's the reason for me standing there. We want mines in the area to know that that will continue. Certainly, I know a number of councillors have that view, pending obviously election in the next election, but certainly it is a strong held view of both this council and I'm sure a council moving forward that it's time that people who worked in the mines in our area started living in the area in which they are employed in the same LGA.
Yes, Councillor Drayton, totally agree. It's something that we've spoken about with them and totally concur that that's pretty much we're putting them on notice that this is it, the road moving forward that we expect and anticipate them to work with us on that position. So that was moved and seconded. Do I have anyone else to speak to it? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.1.5, planning proposal for Muswell Council Works Depot. I'm just going to go through it as she's entered the room because you're in earshot. Council 1 prepares a planning proposal pursuant to section 3.33 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979 for an amendment to the Muswellbrook Local Environment Plan 2009 to achieve the objective of ensuring that council work depot is a type of development permissible with consent at lot DP 819014. 2, requests a gateway determination from the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure and exhibit the proposal in accordance with that determination pursuant to section 3.34, 3.35 of the Environment Planning Act, Planning and Assessment Act 1979. 3, requests that the Director General of the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure issues a written authorisation to council to exercise delegations of the plan making functions under section 3.36 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979 in respect of the planning proposal, and 4, delegates authority to the General Manager to finalise the amendment to the local environmental plan unless submissions are received through the public exhibition of the planning proposal, in which case a further report to council to consider the subject submissions is to occur. Councillor Douglas, Councillor Woodruff, any discussion? All those in favour, please raise their hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Um, 10.1.6, the planning proposal, rural housing and rural lot boundary adjustments as a recommendation there. Council resolves to prepare a planning proposal pursuant to section 3.33 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979 for an amendment to the Muswellbrook Local Environmental Plan 2009 to 1, insert a new clause 4.1c, exemptions to minimum subdivision lot size for boundary adjustments. 2, amend clause 7.5, erection of dwelling houses on land in certain rural and environmental protection zone to ensure dwellings are still permitted on lots created under previous planning instruments. B, forward the planning proposal to the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure for a gateway determination. C, exhibit the planning proposal in accordance with the gateway determination And D, request written authorisation for the council to exercise delegation of the plan making functions under section 3.36 of the Environmental Planning and Assessment Act 1979 in respect of the planning proposal. Councillor Drayton. Councillor Bowditch, second. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise your hands. Heard that unanimously opposed. 10.1.7. Major land care projects. Recommendation there that council approves the allocations for the 2024-2025 major land care budget as proposed in table 1 of the report. Councillor Leckey and Councillor Marshall. Any discussion? With that motion, all those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Now you can move to the legal room. 10.1.8. Change to local heritage assistant grant size. The recommendation that council approves increasing the local heritage assistant grants to a maximum of $4,000 per property in any financial year. Councillor Leckey and Councillor Marshall. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.1.9 Muswellbrook Shire Community Benefit Fund for adoption. The recommendation the council adopts the updated Muswellbrook Shire Community Benefit Fund MSCBF policy as provided in attachment A to the MSCBF terms of reference pending council acceptance of a minor change relating to a 4-year term for the advisory committee, and 3, approves the preparation and exhibition of the MSCBF procedure for a period of 28 days. Moved by Councillor Woodruff and McNeil, second. Any discussion? Any motion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. See that unanimous and carried. 10.1.10. Involving Dorking, right? Monthly report to council, planning, environment and regulatory services. The recommendation that the information contained in the report be noted. Councillor Leckey and Councillor Marshall. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. There, unanimous and carried. 10.2.1. Sure. There's a recommendation that council endorses the attached priority lists of work and the undertaking of the 2024-2025 capital works program to the limit of approved funding under the various programs. A, footpaths renewals as per attachment 1. B, pram ramp renewal as per attachment 2. C, curb and gutter renewals as per attachment 3. D, road sealing as per attachment. E, heavy patching as per attachment 5. And F, car park renewal as per attachment 6, with priority given to the renewal of the Karula Park car park. G, the expenditure of the rural road renewal budget on the identified section of road CH 7.3 to 7.8 kilometres, Martindale Road as per attachment 7. And H, the expenditure of urban road renewal budget on the identified section of Carl Street, Muswellbrook as per attachment 8. Councillor Bowditch.
Yeah.
Councillor Barry.
No, sorry.
Any discussion? Commit the motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.2.2, the joint water treatment plant business case. Recommendation the council approves proceeding with the preparation of a business case with Upper Hunter Shire Council to consider the development of a joint water treatment plant. Councillor Leckey and Councillor Scholes. Anyone wish to speak towards this?
I could say something. Just a second. Yes, I really do commend this approach to Upper Hunter Shire Council. And I think the Shire needs to understand the issues we're starting to have with the quality of water that's in the Hunter River and the amount of effort the council now has to do to get the water quality at a reasonable standard. Both here and Upper Hunter will have the same problem. So I think it commended. We also have a water treatment plant that is very old And this is a far better option than us having to build a $50 million plant just to service this town and knowing that potentially the problem was, we're only pushing the problem further down the track. We might only be pushing it down 30, 40 years. I think the Glenmore Dam is the source of water for this down in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Scholes. I totally agree, and some background for it. Since 1983, Upper Hunter Shire, as you would know, have been on boil water alerts. Most people would not know that in the community. Our turbidity that happens during flooding with our water treatment works being down there on the river does cause the issue. Hopefully that information does get out there, but this joint water treatment facility will provide an advantage to not only our people, residents now, but also extra industries and housing developments that happen between here and Sandy Hollow. Councillor Woodruff.
Yes, I'd just like to agree with Councillor Scholes and also add for me, Mr Mayor, that both councils have the opportunity to work together and to improve the service of water to both of our communities. So again, I'm in favour of the recommendation.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, I'd just like to, Mr Mayor, add to Councillor Scholes and Councillor Woodruff and add that this will also improve our opportunities for grant funding.
Anyone else wishing to speak for the water? No? All right, commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.2.3, Possum Gully Drainage Upgrade. Recommendation that Council 1 notes the feasibility design and associated report for the drainage upgrades for Possum Gully, and 2 endorses progression of the feasibility design to the next design phase. Councillor Lecky and Councillor, Bowditch.
Questions?
Question clarification?
Yeah, just in terms of the size of the retention basin at, is that going to be a major excavation with the capacity?
Sorry, it has to, through the general manager, acting general manager.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Peter Chambers, our Chief Engineer.
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. The previous Possum Gully drainage upgrade options that was completed in 2015 indicated a basement footprint of around 2,400 square metres. The costs associated with this upgrade were fairly substantial back then, and by indexing would probably exceed the budget that we have now, not including the additional work required to relocate sewer infrastructure with the sewer pump station located within the basement footprint. However, it has been flagged that as a preferred design option, we would like to explore the feasibility of that for a future stage as part of the works and design.
I've had it moved in second. Anyone else wishing to speak?
Yes, thanks, Mr Mayor. Mr Chambers, just wanted to say, great job, well done. The presentation was excellent and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Somebody just
I was concurring because then that's something that I've been doing it all for many years.
I'd just like to say that Peter's done a great job as well, but it'll be a little bit of a time away because there is a pump station that sits virtually in the middle of that pond, that it has to all be moved first.
Yeah.
Realign 3 lots of sewer, maybe 4.
Bit of work to go into it. This is just endorsing progression of it. So, any further discussion? Commit the motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Further unanimous and carried. 10.2.4, the catchment management plan for the Muscle Creek and Possum Gully. Recommendation the council note the draft catchment management plan for Muscle Creek and Possum Gully, and 2 publicly exhibit for the draft plan for 28 days. Councillor Douglas and Councillor Scholes. Any discussion?
Yeah, okay. I'd like to also commend through the general manager, staff, regards to the work that's going into this. And for the public who actually look at it, if you look at the documents, they need to understand previous motion and what was involved in that and what's involved in this. And this is a long-term management of an ongoing issue with regards to this town. We're not knowing what our rainfall is going to be like in the future, and the problems we have are potentially going to get worse. We have a lot of minor water courses within this town that at this stage aren't managed as well as we'd like. This has helped us to get there going forward.
Thank you. Anyone else further to speak? Commit the motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.2.5, North View Water Main Easement. There's recommendation that council delegates to the general manager the authority to advise Land Registry Services New South Wales in writing that the relevant sections 45 and 46A and 47 of the Local Government Act 1993 have been complied with, and that the easement for water supply of a lot 553 DP 819739 is not prohibited under the Act. And 2, authorise the council seal and signatures to be affixed in accordance with regulations to the dealings and associated documents to create the easement for a water supply 3 metres wide over lot 553 DP 819739 in favour of council. Councillor Drayton, seconded. Councillor Marshall. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.2.6, concept design Palace Street, Denman. There's recommendation that council, 1, endorses the concept design attached to the report for the rehabilitation and stormwater drainage improvements in Palace Street, Denman, and 2, approves the allocation of a budget of $1.477 million to be included in the 2024-25 capital budget for roadworks and drainage to improve stormwater drainage and to undertake road rehabilitation in Palace Street, Denman, allocating funding from the following available funds: road to recovery funding 2024 $577,000, and the drainage reserve funds $900,000. Someone to move that, mate? Yeah, Mr. Denman Woodruff.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to the acting GM. I wonder if I don't want to make an amendment, but last night I alluded to the condition of the Babington Street causeway, and maybe that could be taken on notice as we increase the water flow into Denman Creek. That may be funding may be able to be sourced to rectify that at some stage in the future. Happy to move the motion.
Thank you, councillor Woodruff. And that's okay with you. Thank you.
Noted. And I think, as we spoke last night, Denman is a shining piece of this Shire.
Well, first in Denman, always, Mr. Mayor.
And well looked after. So moved by councillor Woodruff, seconded by councillor Barry. Any further discussion? Okay, commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 7.2.7, FOGO implementation. Recommendation that council approves the application of eligibility criteria for persons or entities applying for a weekly red bin service charged in accordance with council's fees and charges. The criteria applying to demonstrate genuine additional need for a weekly red bin collection services are as follows. An application for genuine additional need must provide evidence satisfactory to council demonstrating that the relevant household has A, 2 or more children in nappies, B, 6 or more residents excluding rooming houses, Airbnbs, other holiday and business rentals, or C, 1 or more residents with ongoing medical conditions and medical conditions generating excess waste. Someone wishing to move that way? Councillor Woodruff, Councillor Scholes. Any discussion?
Of questions, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, I'd just like to again champion the staff, both those at the front counter and Joanne and her team. It has been an ungrateful process, but I just wanted to assure our staff that we really do appreciate the work they do, and it's encouraging to our business, and thank you.
I think on this topic we all echo that sentiment given what has happened, but Councillor Drayton.
To speak against the motion. Again, I think Councillor Woodruff though is certainly correct. It's been a difficult time for staff, people ring up and the emotion about stuff, and staff had to deal with that at the time. So I also feel for staff as well. I voted against the motion for this reason. I understand, and the general manager, acting general manager, correct me if I'm wrong here. I understand it was only a bit over 1%. So the people that took up the red bin option, the weekly red bin option, I should say, was a little over 1% of the total pickup. That number was around 80. That number's now dropped back. Staff have spoken to people, so it's in my words, correct me again if I'm wrong. If you really don't need it, can you go to one every fortnight or a big bin? And there's obviously 60 of those people have agreed to do that. I don't see why that process should change. There's the recommendation really potholes what staff can and can't do, and I'll give you one of those examples. The example is the example that you need to provide satisfactory evidence for a medical condition. I don't believe you should need to provide any evidence, frankly, and I've spoken about this. Not the first time I've spoken about it. Someone has a medical condition. You've got an adult, particularly, doesn't have to be an adult, can be a child with a medical condition. I'm not sure that it's council's business or the business of council, or in fact, we shouldn't be putting our staff, if we're so concerned about our staff, in that position where they have to deal with the person within the community about the person in the community's medical condition. I don't believe that's business of council. I don't believe we should be getting involved in it. I don't believe we should be potholing in here and saying that's one of the criteria. It's not the only criteria. There's a number. We do mention some criteria. Of course, there's more criteria. Well, sorry, there's more. That's the criteria, but there's far more issues, and certainly some I'm sure that we haven't even thought of, some of the conditions. So I don't agree with it. I don't believe it's such a big issue. We did flog this to death before we got to where we are now. I don't believe we have. I've done obviously a little bit more research myself. It hasn't actually been very successful in too many places that have introduced it. There is only, in the whole of the Sydney CBD, there is only 4 councils in the entire Sydney area. I'm not saying Sydney CBD, the whole area, the whole of Sydney. It's only 4 councils that have decided to move to FOGO at the moment. There's been more issues than not in most areas. When I say more issues than not, there are areas that have a large red bin, not a small red bin. So of course, and I've said all along, it certainly highlights how it is. But I'm not sure we need any more changes. I think at the moment, if the real number at the moment is 20 people, I'm just not sure how that's an issue at all for anyone. And I'm not sure that we need to move. We need to make any further changes to any of the recommendations.
To the motion, you're saying not to make any changes?
No, I'm voting against the motion, which I, again, correct me if I'm wrong, will leave exactly what we've got now in place. Which is, we've spoken before, and certainly, and when I speak about the staff, I've actually dealt with the general manager on a couple of issues with, personal, people who have personal medical conditions. In both of those cases, it was, as I've said, where that person said, I'm not going up to that council office and talking to people about what my medical condition is and why I've got to have my red bin full every week. I just need it emptied every week. And I'm not sure that we should be in a position. In fact, I'm not sure it's our business, council's business, to even enter into those conversations.
So that's why I just want to clarify about the.
I'm voting against the motion, so it stays as it is now.
Stays as it is right now. And anyone, just to clarify,
No,
if we leave it as it is now, happy with the rollout as it is now.
Yeah, which means we don't. This criteria doesn't get introduced.
So
I'm the seconder of the motion. No, I'm the seconder of the motion.
Yeah, that's why
I'm the next one to speak.
clarifying on first. Then our view, if you would like to speak, right?
Okay. I withdraw my second of the motion, and Councillor Drayton has convinced me, and I'm quite happy with it to remain the way it is.
Yes, Councillor Martin.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'm against this motion because the earlier we did the motion, if someone needed second bin, if they apply this criteria, they will be get for 1 year free bin. But this motion says that if someone eligible to get the 1 bin, but they need to pay the charges according with the council fees and charges according with the council policy. Like if someone get the bin, second bin, they have to pay the fees and charges for the second bin.
Yes.
But the earlier motion we did say that they don't need to pay the charges.
So it's hardship policy.
Yeah,
they don't. Correct.
They still have to pay for it unless it's hardship. Yeah, under the current way it is, they'd still have to, and even this way, they'd still have to pay for it unless it's under the hardship policy, which has only gone from 12 to 20 people in that period.
Yeah, the hardship policy never had that, has it? Never.
Yeah. So,
Can I point out to the mayor that the motion that helped on my seconding, you don't actually have a motion to debate at this stage.
yeah, so
She needs another seconder or
that's why, Councillor Woodruff's moved, back on, Councillor McNeil.
Just for the purpose of debate.
What do you got there?
Question.
Ask a question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this was precipitated by problems with truck capacity and staff capacity to deliver on a high frequency weekly service.
General Manager.
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. Yes, so with the weekly service, Councillor Drayton's right. Staff have been encouraging residents to take up the upsize to the 240 or the additional weekly service. We have been provided a price and the ability to add ad hoc weekly service. The concern has been if we receive a lot of them, it's difficult to resource because we service one area of town, collecting the weekly service. We're not servicing the other area of town on that week, and then you run into the constraint of going potentially out of the routine. Yeah.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, supplementary.
Yes.
To the General Manager, what would be the consequences of oversubscribing for the weekly service?
The consequences of oversubscribing would be that in the short term, council would not be getting full cost recovery, and if that was significant, an ad hoc service council can accommodate. But if that was significant, it would mean council coming back and revisiting the domestic waste charges.
Hang on, I'm just going to move a motion that we go into a committee of the whole, if that's all right. Seconded?
Yeah.
Everyone in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that carried, so.
I didn't support it.
No, but it was more than.
Can you say that again? Sorry.
To me, it's the committee of the whole, so as we have discussion.
Something like discussion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if we can just,
We'll just.
and pause that.
So is it supported was going to?
Put the end of it for support when I said that.
Just to discuss, Jim.
No, I don't think it should be possible.
No, I just want to clarify.
Wait, not say something.
Committee of the whole, that's going to be discussion. Because if we go to committee of the whole, they have to.
Was just stopping the recording.
Because it's not about trying to hide anything. I want after much discussion, the motion will be put.
Is it an opportunity for one more question?
Go for it, Gus. Captain, what was
Well, I'd like, sure you can.
Yeah. I just need. Yeah.
Mayor, just my question is to Matt. Are you concerned if this motion is not passed, the council will find itself in a position where it cannot meet the demands of the weekly service?
Thank you, Councillor McNeil. Council staff are currently encouraging residents to look at the other two alternatives, and to date that has been relatively successful.
Yeah, right. So the motion's been moved by Councillor Woodruff, seconded by Councillor McNeil. All those in favour, please raise a hand. All those against? The motion not carried. Okay, so that means just for the relevant information that the FOGO will stay as is now moving forward. Okay, 10.3.1 Muswellbrook Shire Council Draft 2023 Recreational Needs Management Study. There's a recommendation that Council 1 endorses the draft 2023 Rec Needs and Management Study and the changes recommended, and 2 approves a final copy to be prepared for publication. I'm going to move that motion. Councillor Scholes. Councillor McNeil. Or any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Unanimous and carried. 10.3.2 Concept Design Community Infrastructure Depot Muswellbrook. There's a recommendation that Council 1 endorses the detailed concept planning principle. 2 approves dividing the project into 2 stages. 3 approves progressing the preparation of the development application. And 4 delegates authority to the General Manager for the submission of the development application. Councillor Douglas and Councillor Dunn. Any discussion? Just wish to say that this is something that we definitely need for our staff, and to get it underway will be fantastic. So thank you.
You've been very patient.
All those in favour, please raise a hand. Clear that. Unanimous and carried. 10.3.3 Denman to Sandy Hollow Pipeline Options Report. Recommendation that Council approves 1, the General Manager to advise Infrastructure New South Wales that the project is progressing, and 2, a further report be provided to Council prior to tendering for detailed design and construction. Move that one. Councillor Woodruff.
Second.
Sorry. Councillor Dale, you can say it to me too.
Number.
Sorry?
At a minute.
Okay. Councillor Marshall.
I'm not voting over again.
Any discussion? Commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Karula Park Draft Master Plan. There's a recommendation that Council approves the Karula Park Draft Landscape Master Plan to be placed on public exhibition for a period of 28 days, and 2 requests a further report providing the details of all public submissions received be submitted to Council following conclusion of the public exhibition period. Someone to move that motion. Councillor Woodruff, Councillor Leckey. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous. 10.3.5 is the councillor question for Volunteer Park. Councillor notes the report, so all councillors have seen the question that Councillor Bowditch provided. Councillor Bowditch. Okay. So moved by Councillor Bowditch, a second. Councillor Marshall. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Clear that unanimous and carried. 10.4.1 Councillor Caretaker Provisions. The information contained in the report be noted. Someone to move that motion. Councillor Douglas, Councillor Barry. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Clear that unanimous and carried. 10.4.2 Confirmation of the General Manager's delegations during caretaker period. There's a recommendation subject to the restrictions of the Section 377 of the Local Government Act 1993 and Section 393B of the Local Government Regulation 2021. Council delegates authority to the General Manager to exercise and or perform on behalf of Council of all functions of Council for the period from and including the 16th of August to the 15th of October. Councillor Drayton, Councillor Marshall, any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.4.3 Governance Arrangements Committee of Council. Recommendation that Council declares the membership of all subcommittees of Council open until the next term of Muswellbrook Shire Council beginning in October 2024. Someone to move that motion? Councillor Douglas and Councillor McNeil. Any discussion? In favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.4.4 Authorisation under Section 226 of the Local Government Act. As the Council notes the information provided in the report. To move that motion, Councillor McNeil and Councillor Barry. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. 10.4.5.
Council notes the information contained in the report and endorses one, revising and resubmitting council's application under the Commonwealth Safer Local Roads and Infrastructure Program, the upgrade of Thomas Mitchell Drive. Two, considering options for funding under the current and November round of the club grants category 3 infrastructure grant program, including upgrades and or renewal of assets at the Muswellbrook Aquatic Centre, Muswellbrook Regional Arts Centre, or the Muswellbrook Emergency and Community Services Precinct. 3, undertake further investigation as to whether transport and other costs associated with the delivery of the intergenerational program in Muswellbrook are eligible for funding under the Tech Savvy Seniors program. 4, council staff to investigate the feasibility, including funding availability and community interest, for establishing a regional university study hub in Muswellbrook to serve the Upper Hunter region, including the establishment of a body corporate, which is a condition to be eligible for funding. 5, applying for funding under the Maker Projects Community STEM Engagement Grants 2024 in partnership with another organisation such as the MELT. And 6, applying for funding for the construction of infrastructure and utilities, facilitate the delivery of the Wollongong Road Precinct project, and investigate whether master planning for the Muswellbrook South Gateway project and potential options for other local land and housing developments for the benefit of the Muswellbrook Shire community are eligible to be submitted for funding.
Councillor Douglas and Councillor Leckey, any further discussion? All those in favour, please raise your hand. Declare that unanimous. Carried. 10.4.6, the draft Muswellbrook Shire Aquatic and Fitness Centre policy for public exhibition. That Council approves the draft. Council approves the draft Muswellbrook Shire Aquatic and Fitness Centre policy to be placed on public exhibition via Council's website for a period of 28 days, and 2, a further report be submitted to Council for consideration of submissions received during the exhibition period. Thank you, Councillor Stiles and Councillor McNeil. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Please act unanimous. Carried. 10.4.7, 2023-2024 financial statements authorisation.
The council authorises the submission of the 23-24 general purpose financial reports, special purpose financial reports, and special schedules for Muswellbrook Shire Council to the audit. And the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor, General Manager and responsible accounting officer be authorised to sign the reports upon completion of the audit.
Councillor Margin and Councillor Barry. All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Thank you. 10.4.8, the monthly financial report, June 2024. Council notes the financial reports for the month ending 30th of June 2024. Councillor Mahajan and Councillor Barry again. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. That carried. 10.4.9, report on investments held as at the 30th of June 2024. The recommendation that the council notes council's investment as at the 30th of June 2024. Councillor Stiles and Councillor Barry. With that motion, all those in favour, please raise a hand. That unanimous and carried. 10.5.1 New Year's Eve sponsorship proposal. There's a recommendation the council approve the general manager to negotiate with sorry?
Not just question, but just time.
And enter into a sponsorship agreement with Thies for the sponsorship of the proposed Wonnarua Skies drone show for the 2024 New Year's Eve event.
I'd like it noted that this is not a conflict for me whatsoever. Nothing to do with the drone show.
Yeah, you're right.
Does someone wish to move that motion?
Oh,
Councillor Marshall. Well, any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Declare that unanimous and carried. Economic development, 10.5.2. Can I just ask questions? Anyone have any better up? Thanks. 10.5.2 Economic Development Update. There's a recommendation that council notes the information contained in the report. I'm going to move that. Councillor Stiles and Councillor Bowditch.
Could I just make a comment?
Yeah.
I've got to keep on analysing. It's a report that I've got to read 2 or 3 times, but this is the depth of information in this report with regards to that is what we needed all along. We now really know what's happening down there. This is good information, and I recommend to the public to actually read it. Know a lot of good information in there about what this is actually achieving.
Right, I concur, and I recommend that the community should watch what's happening throughout all the business papers. I commit that motion. All those in favour, please raise their hands. That unanimous and carried. 10.5.3 the community services, that the information contained in this report be noted.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Councillor Marshall. All those in favour, please raise their hand. That unanimous and carried. 10.5.4 Australia Day Awards 2025 nominations and guidelines. There's a recommendation that council adopts the Australia Day 2025 nomination guidelines and criteria. Councillor Barry, seconded by Councillor Leckie. Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise their hand. That carried. The minutes of the meetings, 11.1, the Olympic Park Precinct Development Advisory Committee meeting on the 4th of June 2025. There's a recommendation that council notes the minutes of that meeting. Councillor McNeil and Councillor Barry. Any discussion? Those in favour, please raise a hand. That unanimous and carried. 11.2 Regional Entertainment Centre Development Advisory Committee meeting 6th of June 2024. There's a recommendation that those notes on that date be Councillor Scholes and Councillor Woodruff. All those in favour, please raise a hand. That unanimously carried. 11.4 Local Traffic Committee meeting 9th of July. There's a recommendation that council notes and adopts the recommendation contained therein.
So moved.
Councillor Marshall, seconded by Councillor
Bowditch.
Let me see that.
I could see him thinking.
Any discussion? All those in favour, please raise a hand. Clear that. Motion carried. So there's nil notices of motion. Councillor reports. Start from my left. Anyone else from this? No. Councillor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. It's my pleasure to attend the yarning circle opening at St Joseph's, Aberdeen. I did ask the Yidaki player to brace himself because the mayor would be here to see how he went since his last effort on the ditch. But it was a great achievement. The whole thing was funded 9% by donations. The area looks great. The talk given prior to the opening was really about First Nations people and what a yarning circle is all about. So yeah, it was a great day, great presentation. It just shows you how what a great community we have to involve around the school. The amount of donations and the end product was just fantastic.
Thank you, Councillor Woodruff. Councillor Douglas.
I just want to mention what an amazing community it was in regards to NAIDOC Week. So obviously a very important time of the year and all the different events that were on. But from ourselves, we're very grateful to the community who got behind the events that we held. And there was hundreds of people that attended our NAIDOC Fun Day. So I wanted to thank the community for the support that they've given and the respect that they showed during NAIDOC Week.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you know, I attended with yourself and the General Manager at the Local Government National Conference in Canberra. It was a eye-opener for myself. I know Councillor Woodruff has there last year, the year before. And it was about 1,200 councillors in one room expressing themselves. So very interesting. At times we had a lot of guest speakers, and I keep getting a name wrong, Christy McBain. She was the first speaker, and I believe she's a regional development minister, and she spoke a lot about the benefits of renewable energy to regional communities. I asked a question about the fact that we're probably a 90% carbon-based economy, so we've got some challenges that come with the introduction of renewable energy. And while I'm on the topic of renewable energy, the General Manager and myself went to a sub-conference to the main conference on renewable energy, and they had the renewable energy think tank to answer questions. And there was a lot of councillors there from regional areas, which expressed concerns about security of supply, but also about the benefits they believed were, and I know those benefits we've had a lot of discussion about, but the Broken Hill, Burke, Gunnedah, a lot of those councils expressed the fact that it's not enough. The other thing that stood out for me, and I won't keep us here all night, was probably the second best public speaker I've ever heard. His name was Simon. He had a brilliant PowerPoint presentation on the challenges for local government. And I'll just mention a few of them. Cost control is projected to get harder and harder for councils to rein that in. Staff retention is even a bigger problem, and the prospects of having to meet higher salaries for staff as we progress in time. And he actually broke it down to the particular areas of staff. Believe it or not, truck drivers are the number one on the list to be a great shortage of. But there's a whole list, there's a whole stack of presentations. I'd like to actually get a hold of it and share it around if that's possible. He looked at the demographics of each of the generations that are there to apply for jobs, the X, Y, Z, and he actually discussed and outlined the things that council has to do to attract those people. And he went into a lot of the social science that probably a lot of it over my head, but it was the crux of the matter was you've got to know your people in order to attract them to work for you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Follow up, and I will supply in writing as Councillor Sculls had asked me to. The report from Canberra, you asked for it in writing, and I said that yes, no problem at all. I will do that. Mr. Haynes.
I've been very nice.
I will do it. But, there's several topics that I wish to speak about on that matter, which is the synopsis of challenges and opportunities that this council has developed, and how important it is to keep that rolling as an updated with their councillors moving forward, and to have it as a copy wherever we go in our back pocket. We're the only council that is doing it when it comes to any meetings to leave behind, so it's a good outlook of our community. The meetings with the ministers were all, as you can imagine at the time, nuclear was the number one thing on the lips when we arrived in Canberra, and we steered them back onto the path of we don't have a position as council, but these are the things that we are our challenges and factors in relation to employment, the land around us, and of course the economic cliff that we face come 2030 shall Bengala close. To what Gus just alluded to, it was a big Mount Arthur.
Oh.
Did I say something?
Bengala.
Mount Arthur, sorry. To what Gus just alluded to, it is a competitive market we're in with the staff, and it was about the making it attractive to staff to be in your region. And as we know, we compete with the coal mines. But the flexibility, and it's, as I've said, I think it's something our state government should be helping out with, trying to run a campaign to get people's kids in high schools into jobs, because it's not just, as it was said, the private market, you are working somewhere 60 to 70 hours for this pay, but the flexibility and the livability and having that quality time with family and friends is available through working with councils. So I recommend that. The second thing I'll speak of was on the weekend, we went to the opening of the Cayuga Fire Brigade.
Oh, it's got there late.
Yeah, some of us did get there late, some of us got there 2 hours early. Just want to congratulate this council because we finally got it there to where it was from being in a shed out at Lonigan's farm. And they are more than over the moon about the facilities they have now, and they should for what they do and put themselves on the line. So to this council, they wanted us to bring back a thank you and a message of appreciation. So thank you.
Mr. Mayor, my point with regards to the written request, not all of us can attend these conferences. Some are attending. So therefore, basically, you're our filter for what was particularly relevant to us and is important to us. So what we need from that is not someone standing here in a meeting and giving us generalisations. I would like to know the specifics, like Gus just spoke of presentations. I'd like to be able to get a copy of those presentations. So that's what I'm getting at with regards. We can't all attend these conferences.
Yeah.
We send along representatives to pick the eyes out of it that is relevant to us.
Yeah.
Then we expect that to be able to gain that information back.
Yeah.
Not just to stand up in a meeting and tell us generalisations.
I've got a copy.
That's part of it. Yeah, we've got we do have a booklet that does show where you can go to the links for all these presentations. So that's part of it. I will get that to no problem at all. I haven't had an EA, so I will get that around, I promise. Yeah, it is. Some councils, and I just want to point it out that we do a great job. It needs to be a delegation of councillors as a spread for exposure, as we've done with the New South Wales conference. Some councils took down 8 councillors, and for us, that's not affordable for our community. And some councillors didn't even attend many events. So what we did is really good to take 8 councillors down. I think I'd increase it to 3 or 4. I would suggest.
Information.
That comes down to the next council. I would suggest increasing it to 3 because it is really worth it. So
yeah, even if you include President 4,
yeah,
it doesn't. That's not the point.
I know.
The point is you're out there reps. You're the ones who're gaining the information. We trust you to be the filters for it. Let's get the information to us.
I can send you the digital book for all the links.
Can I just respond to that? It's like a lot of presentations, PowerPoint presentations. They're basically prompts for the presenter. I've got a copy. I've got a photo of every presentation. It's only 5% of the information we've got articulated.
But that gives me the chance to ask a question of you.
Yeah.
What was the meat behind that?
Yeah. I actually was putting that together. I was still catching up from work. But
Can I just say nobody asked me for anything from the 3-day waste conference I sat on the computer for.
But you did learn a lot, and you did.
I did, but I don't see anyone begging for information from me.
Actually,
No, but it's important for council to go to these things to also, see what's happening in other councils as well.
One question, Mr. Mayor, if be so audacious, the HJO, would you like to make comment on our representation with the HJO to the ministers?
Yeah, I think the HJO does, from what it was to what it is now, and Derek's not here to speak on its behalf, it is working in our best interests. That comes down to the character, of course. If you want to sit there and put things across, I tend to take over a little bit about Muswellbrook, as we'd expect, and about the people and our mining, living here, our land that we're locked with. So HJO is a good vehicle, and hopefully under its new direction with the change of the structure that it carries on in that direction. So thank you. Written questions, there's Neil. Is there any questions for the next meeting?
You're funny. You're not over.
Anyone want to sneak one in? No? Okay, there's an adjournment to go into closed council. Councillor Dunn and Councillor Wood. Please. please. Councillor Douglas moves that. All those in favour, please raise their hand.
She's on a mission.
Someone else will say that. Please raise a hand. Clear that unanimous and carried. So we are back in open. That's illegal.
17.1, Mount Pleasant Road, Shire, Brookstein. Resolved on the motions of Councillor Drayton, Councillor Leckey. Council authorises the General Manager to finalise the negotiations, Mac Energy Australia, Big Royal Limited around the financial considerations and other matters containing in the Mount Pleasant Road closure of work. 17.2, Council resolved. 17.2, contract 2023 to 2024, 0602, replacement of road causeway on Dry Creek Road, and evaluation report. Council resolved, subject to the approval of council's claim that natural disaster funding. Was the amendment was there?
Yes,
Yeah,
There's a word.
sorry. I'll read this one out then.
Thanks.
So, Katie. 17.2, Council 1 acknowledges the advice from Transport New South Wales that the essential public asset reconstruction for the replacement of Dry Creek Causeway was endorsed at the approvals meeting held 23rd of July, declining a value of $705,000. 2, accepts the tender submitted by KCE Proprietary Limited for contract 2023-2024 0603 replacement of road causeway on Dry Creek Road, Lygon, for the lump sum of $557,100 exclusive of GST, and 3, authorises the General Manager Authority to enter into a contract for the replacement of the road causeway on Dry Creek Road.
17.3, contract 223-224 0603, Denman Recreation Reserve Works, Bell Street, Denman, evaluation report. Council resolved to accept the tender submitted by KCE PCY Ltd for contract 2023-2024 0603, Denman Recreation Reserve Works, Bell Street, Denman, the lump sum of $1,124,300, exclusive of GST, plus the provisional item amount of $192,500. Delegates the General Manager authority to enter into a contract Denman Recreation Reserve Works, Bell Street, Denman, under contract 2023-2024 0603, and acceptance of a provisional item to construct and seal a portion of Bell Street between change 0 and change 182 metres from Armand Street.
17.4, contract 2020.
Well, there was an amendment on that.
Oh, sorry, and the amendment there, investigate options for 2 additional netball courts. 17.4, contract 2023-2024 0611, detailed design, Olympic Park Grandstand and amenity detailed design consultant. Council resolved that the tender submitted by Barnes and Proprietary Limited contract 2024 0611 detailed design Olympic Park entity for a lump sum of $535,600 exclusive of GST, and authorise the General Manager to enter into the contract for project 2023-2024 0611.
17.5, contract 2023-2024 0604, Muswellbrook Indoor Sports Centre and Youth Centre construction. Council resolved to decline to accept any tenders for contract 2023-2024 0604, Muswellbrook Indoor Sports and Youth Centre construction, as further permanently contract clarifications required. 2, in accordance with clause 1773E of the Local Government General Regulation 2005, enter into negotiations with the third tenderer as described in the report, because it is considered most likely to achieve the best value outcome for council. And 3, further report is submitted to council for determination of the awarding.
17.6, contract 2023-2024-0588, replacement of road causeway on Barami Creek Road tender evaluation. There was council resolved to one, decline to access any of the tenders for the contract because of tenders exceeded the available budget and invite in accordance with section 167, 168 or 169. Fresh tender submissions based on different details, and two, request that the new tenderers provide change in scope proposal to undertake works to the upper limit of the available funding.
17.7 contract 2023-2024-0582 Merton Street stormwater drainage. Council resolved. Council approves a variation to the scope of work under contract 2023-2024-0582 to the value of $442,374.60, exclusive of GST, to undertake road reconstruction of Merton Street, Denman, Power Street to Paxton Street.
17.8 contract 2023-2024-0609 procurement four-wheel drive tractor. There's the council resolved to accept a tender submitted by RDO equipment for contract 2023-2024-0609 procurement of four-wheel drive tractor and attachments for the lump sum of $337,050 exclusive GST. Authorise the general manager authority to enter into a contract for the 2023-2024-0609 procurement of four-wheel drive tractor and attachments, and I'll say well done on that one.
17.9 general contract 2023-2024-0599 trade services. Council resolved 1, approves the below listed trade and services providers as panel source suppliers for building trade services. This contract will span 2 years from 1 September 2024 to 30 August 2026 with a provision for a 12-month extension based on satisfactory performance, potentially extending the contract to 31 August 2027. Subject to financial checks and onboarding of the council's contract and management system involved, the successful suppliers are categorised into 12 groups as specified in the tender document, listed under the relevant categories in order of preference, recommending 4 suppliers per category.
I'm aware of this one,
Yep.
and they're available on the council minutes on the website. 17.10 regional procurement tender T02425 HUN panel contract for provision of labour hire. Result, the council one accepts the following companies to be awarded as panel source suppliers to Muswellbrook Shire Council regional procurement contract 2022-425 HUN provision labour hire category 1 blue collar for the period of 1st of July 2024 to June 30, 2027. And that a provision be allowed for 12-month extension based on satisfactory supply performance, which may take the contract through to 30th of June 2028. The CBD plant and labour hire CGH Service Proprietary Limited Trading as 4-star, DOV Enterprise Proprietary Limited Trading as NPC Recruitment and also Macquarie Labour. I combined 360 Service Group Proprietary Limited Labour Cooperative Limited Trading as Labour Co. Crew Hunter. The Wild Proprietary Limited Trading as Men and Work, Men and Women at Work. 7 rare blind people, 8 program skilled workforce, trading as programs skilled workforce. 9 workforce infrastructure Australia Proprietary Limited, and 10 workforce recruitment and labour service, trading as workforce recruitment and labour service.
17.11 refinancing the Muswellbrook Marketplace Shopping Centre. Resolved by Council 1, delegates to the General Manager the authority to negotiate the lowest fixed interest rate with one of the 4 major banks for an amount of $5,879,111 on a fixed term of 4 years, amortising over 4 years with quarterly repayments with the start date of 14 August 2024 and otherwise in accordance with the terms offered by the selected bank. And 2, delegates to the General Manager authority to execute an agreement to refinance the purchase of the Muswellbrook Marketplace Shopping Centre with a financial institution that provides the lowest borrowing cost to council.
17.12, Paxton Street drainage matters. Council notes the council note information in the report. Queen Street Road Reserve Council's one supports the proposed closure of the section on Queen Street Road Reserve in principle, and two requests a further report to be provided to council following consultation with residents, owners and adjacent property owners. And that brings us to the closure of the council. Just want to thank everyone. I wish everyone all the best in their future endeavours, be it whatever it may face. It has been great, but I think on behalf of council, we need 3 cheers for the staff that have done a fantastic job. Right. Thank you, staff. Thank you, councillors. Thank you.
I was told to be able to sort that situation, but since I'm a hobbit.
You've been talking about that embargo too.
Couldn't believe you said that.
Okay, upgrade mine.